Welcome to the Gear Slum, your one-stop shop for all things guitar culture nonsense. I'm Aaron.
I'm Phil.
And I'm Cole.
We
Aaron
spend
got
hours.
me.
Don't have to.
Okay, Phil, you were saying you have a 13-year-old boy inside of you?
I do.
Or-
And that 13-year-old
Getting
boy,
excited about.
he is excited. He's very excited about tomorrow, Extraction 2, starring Chris Hemsworth on Netflix, worth the price of admission.
What is Extraction? I don't even know what Extraction 1 is.
Damn it, Aaron.
It's probably some nerd show.
Google it. It
No,
looks
just tell me.
so badass. It's just like tough
Is
guy.
there an Extraction, or is Extraction 2 just the first one?
What?
I like that idea.
Is Extraction 2 the name of the movie, or is it Extraction Part 2?
It is a sequel to
Okay.
the first movie.
It's like Extraction also. Like Extraction 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's like, that book,
It's
Slaughterhouse 5.
TWO.
That's not the fifth in a series of Slaughterhouse books. It's just
Right.
part of the
I
name.
understand what you're
I
saying.
didn't know that.
I understand your word twisting, and I see your word twisting, and
But
Crazy.
have you
I
seen Extraction?
recognize
Because you said Google it. It looks badass as if you haven't seen it.
You're
I
saying
haven't
he's saying
seen
Extraction 2 looks
Ew.
badass.
But have you seen Extraction?
based on. I have.
I'm saying, tell
I
me
watched
about
it
Extraction.
multiple times.
It would be weird if you were
Okay.
this excited for
Okay.
a sequel for a movie that you hadn't seen.
That's why I thought maybe there wasn't a.
I saw the trailer for the first one, and I
Yeah.
saw the trailer for the second one, and
I
I'm
love
more
that.
excited for the trailer
Super
for the second one. Okay, Chris Hemsworth, are you ready? Chris
Yep.
Hemsworth is a former special forces guy, and
Mhm.
now he's a special forces guy for hire. He's a mercenary, all right, and he gets hired to do special jobs. And
Like special education jobs.
no,
Oh.
no, actually, kind of. So in
Wait, what?
in Extraction 1,
Beats up handicapped kids.
no, he saves a handicapped kid. He's not handicapped.
Oh.
He's not handicapped. I mean, he's a little special, but he's
Now
he gets,
you're making it sound worse.
Yeah.
he gets dropped into some city in India, and he has to save this boy. And the movie starts, and he's just like freaking murdering, like just everyone to save this one boy. And it's like nonstop action, and he's shooting fools, he's kicking fools, he's stabbing fools, like
So why is this one boy's life
dozens and
inherently
dozens.
more valuable than all the other people he's killing?
You know what, Cole? I'll tell you, because capitalism, he's paid to care about that one boy. That's why. And he does. Yep. Watch it. Watch it. And,
See
and,
that
When you say
video
and
watch
of
it, when you
the
say
kid
watch
who-
it, are you telling me to like,
You
hey,
better
watch it,
pal.
pal?
You
Watch
better
yourself.
watch
You're on thin ice, bud.
Don't criticize Extraction 2
Yeah, that's
or
right.
Extraction 1.
Extraction 1, 2, or probably, I'm assuming the
Don't
sequel.
criticize the Extraction
second one.
franchise.
I want them to start making
Exactly.
making movies and just calling it blank 1, like the first
Yeah.
one.
I feel like I've seen that before, but it is like a super. I love the hubris of that.
Like, we're definitely making another one.
Yeah. Like, this is gonna be a series.
Speaking of, I mean, okay,
That's like, have you guys?
before,
You guys haven't watched The Chosen, have you?
no, but
It's largely like funded by Kickstarter, I think.
Mhm.
the first one
and-
was, yes.
Well, but still, because they do this thing where they're like, we're gonna make 7 seasons of this, and so we need your donations. And it's like, okay, guys, that's you gotta have
I
goal.
saw
and
people
everything.
were upset because the guy that plays Judas had like pride stuff on his Instagram or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No,
But
no,
it's
no,
like
no,
he's
that's not-
Judas.
You're close. You're
Like-
close. No.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that kind of in character for him? He's the bad guy.
You're supposed to hate him. No, Aaron, you're a little bit off. It wasn't Judas. It wasn't the literal Judas. It was the figurative Judas, the cameraman. There was something recently in.
Are you you're talking about The Office now?
No. I'm talking about the Chosen.
Cameraman who betrayed Jim,
Aaron, listen. Okay,
the figurative Judas.
okay. For the viewer at home, you know what? Let's back up. It's been a while since we've been together.
Been a while.
Here we are together. Aaron, I want everyone to be prepared. Aaron is going to interrupt more than usual because he has to make up for the fact that it's been
1 week. Yep,
No.
it's been.
Yeah,
it's been
Phil's been able to speak unimpeded for months now, and
no one
that-
has interrupted
this will not stand.
me for over a month.
Exactly.
I've been uninterrupted, and here I am.
Let's get into your
So-
head.
It's actually a cameraman.
So
It's not even one of the actors.
no, it was not an actor. It was a behind the
cares?
scenes still image, and somebody zoomed in and saw on a camera there was a pride sticker on a camera.
Oh, like while they were shooting the thing.
yes, and
Oh, Jesus would have been pissed. The irony of that is like if you've watched that, they portray Jesus in my mind in a very accurate way in the sense that he's very I don't know how else you'd portray him, but like
super gay.
the whole thing is he's like super open, like it's all about, it's the whole freaking Bible. All that Jesus does is minister to marginalized people and help people who are,
Ooh, we don't
Like-
like that, Cole.
I know, but
We
that's
do
why
not
it's
like
so
that.
ironic because this more than most things that I've seen before that portray Jesus, this sort of highlights that more. And so it's
because of
funny
the
that people
the woke media.
there are these people who care so much about this show and are just like missing the point of it basically,
Wait, so how did he get? Why were they saying Judas was doing it? Was
I don't know
having
who told you Judas. Aaron,
I
you're the
saw
one who
pictures
said that.
of it.
You're the one who said that. What I'm
I did say
saying
that,
is,
and now you're saying that I had that twisted.
yes,
That what I thought was Judas was
you
actually a
twisted the
cameraman.
words. Yeah, I'm saying
I don't think
once
that's
again,
accurate.
You
Hold on.
twisted words. So
Did
the
not twist words.
the words of
I've
Judas.
seen it.
You twisted the word
you
Judas.
twisted
and
your
cameraman.
memories.
You twisted those words, Aaron. So
It's probably just some
Someone-
Breitbart thing.
someone posted online, "Hey, look at this. We have to boycott The Chosen because look at this camera has a pride sticker on the camera." And then one of the creators of the show was like, "Listen, I'm not in control of every single person's belief on the crew of this show.
Mhm.
We're making an awesome show that is like talking about the gospel and Jesus's life, and I'm not in control of every single person's belief on the crew." And then people were like, "You suck." And
It's
so it's very sad. It's very
it's
very sad if
crazy.
you think about it.
It
because
is
it's
just
like,
crazy how they just don't see. I'm like constantly just baffled because it's like they're doing a satire of
yeah,
the Pharisees in The Chosen. Like
totally.
They probably
is-
think they're the heroes. They're like,
yeah,
and those
It's
Pharisees.
like
they're
the
like,
whole.
oh yeah, those
the whole-
Pharisees had a lot of good points.
Can
There's
we
good
talk
people on
about
both sides.
if we're talking about that? Can we talk about like people boycotting Chick-fil-A? Freaking
No.
Chick-fil-A closed on
So
Sunday.
I figured it out. I think the guy that plays Judas like defended the thing after the fact,
Of course, typical
Uh-oh.
Judas.
Typical.
and that was
classic
the whole. That
Judas.
was the meme. They were like,
He probably
Judas
did it
still
for
at it. He's still
he
at
probably
it.
did it for 20 shekels of silver or whatever.
For the
30.
freaking
Come on,
silver.
bro.
That's right.
Dang.
30 pieces of silver.
Yeah.
Somebody gargle my silver.
Crap.
Put that silver in a sack.
Oh man, you guys, I missed you.
It's good to be back.
I missed you past tense. I love you current present tense.
Current tense. Dude, how's this for a roller coaster? one of my friends that I haven't, he was like one of my best friends in high school, and I haven't talked to him in probably 6 years. He just like came and randomly knocked on my door because his brother, it's like a whole long story. His brother's separating from his wife, and he's going to like pick up his kids. His brother lives like right near me, and he didn't want to be there for that part because his wife's kind of a nightmare. So he just needed somewhere to stay for a little while. So he just like came and talked, hung out for 20 minutes or whatever. But it was good. Just like with this, we didn't lose a beat.
Did you record it?
No, I should have. I should have been
Oh
like, hey,
man.
if I can't monetize this conversation, it's of no value to me. So we got to get this up on Patreon.
I understand you're going through a hard time, but
Yeah.
can
This
we?
isn't really about you right now.
Send this kid back.
Aaron, I don't know if
Yes.
we want to do this on this episode, but we kind of need to talk about.
We got to seize the day. We
Fast
think
and the
there will be
Furious,
2
right?
episodes.
Haven't seen it.
What?
I have not seen it.
Okay,
Have you
That's
seen
even better, actually.
Whatever that other one was?
can we just talk about what you think about it, even though you haven't seen it? I think that's
I
better.
think I haven't even really watched any previews of it.
What?
He
Trailers.
doesn't want to spoil it.
I still haven't watched Fast 9. I'll tell you that. Started it a couple times, but
Started it a couple times. Aaron,
yeah, it's not
I
great.
thought you were a fan.
I was. Damn.
Am I crazy?
Was, he said.
I'm a fan of several of the movies in that series.
I don't really like watching movies. Is that weird?
Yes.
Like-
I don't know if it's weird, but
It seems like
I
it's
don't
like
feel
a
that way.
commitment for some reason that
Yeah, it is.
watching a TV
Time
show
commitment.
isn't. And I don't
Just
know why,
pause
because
it.
I'll watch like consecutive hours of a TV show, no problem. But like,
yeah, but you got to keep track of like the same story long term.
yeah, like they do the previously on,
I just watched the Steven Spielberg West Side Story. Had you watched that?
Wait,
I
what
didn't
do you
know that
mean
was
by
a thing.
Steven? Oh.
Spielberg directed a film version of West Side Story a couple years ago.
For some reason I heard in my mind Westworld, and I was like, "What?" Okay, but
Steven
now
Spielberg did
West Side World.
probably produce Westworld. I don't know.
Okay, West Side Story, singing, dancing,
Yeah, Sharks,
A year-
Jets,
a
Maria.
year or two ago, and
It's good. It's really good.
oh, okay.
Tried a little bit.
So
Did you hear that,
Girl.
Cole? Jeez, this guy. Oh,
right in a movie. So speaking of West Side Story,
in the cinema.
I went to a show last week for a band called Death Cab for Cutie.
What?
Mhm.
You guys
Oh
heard of
yeah,
them?
friend of the show. We met him.
Heard these guys?
No, that was
Yeah,
not
that was
it.
Jimmy Eat World. Do you not know who
Oh.
Death Cab for Cutie is?
Damn
I was
it.
joking. You know who Death Cab for Cutie is, don't you?
I
I
think you
do.
just mixed them up with Jimmy Eat World.
Okay. I'm trying to find a current picture. Oh, maybe I'll look on YouTube and find.
Why did I mix them up in my
So
mind?
Ben Gibbard, right?
Mhm.
Like you,
Jibar.
what do you think of when you think of him, like his physical appearance?
I follow him on Instagram, so I kind of
Okay. So you already know what he currently looks like?
I think so.
Does he post pictures of him?
I think really skinny.
Really skinny with like swooped up hair
Huh?
and
Oh.
a really small t-shirt that looked like, here, I'll post.
I don't know if I remember the
Let me
swooped up-
share my screen.
Uh-oh. Sure.
I'll show you what he looked like at the concert I went and saw. By the way, they sounded really good. I'm not like I really liked their albums that were out in 2006 and didn't listen to a ton of them after that. So I'm
Okay.
not like a super fan or anything, but I like them.
Okay.
Um,
Cold.
Is this
Do you have
the
permission?
is this the Death Cab / Postal Service tour that you went to?
No.
Okay.
I would have liked to go to that one because I actually liked Postal Service a lot.
So yeah, he looks like
I
how
was
I
expecting
picture
him
him.
to have. Now that I see it up close, the shirt doesn't have the same. It looked to me just like a a muscle shirt, basically.
Oh,
Like I was expecting him to have a pack of cigarettes rolled up in the sleeve, you know?
that's probably like a $300 T-shirt,
Oh yeah,
Dude,
totally. But
seriously.
like he doesn't look like
$700.
he always just looked like kind of a huge dorky nerd before, right?
Well, he used to wear glasses all the time, I think, right?
Yeah, but even like
Which is not that nerdy. That's actually pretty cool.
No, Aaron. Aaron.
like look at this freaking nerd.
I guess he
telling
didn't have
me-
glasses.
He doesn't even have
Lego
glasses.
hair.
That is the nerdiest looking dude on the planet. He's
Yikes.
got like the same haircut that my
No.
mom had when I
That's
was
very
in junior
70s
high.
look. At the time, that was super hip. He's got the
Look at this guy.
No.
sideburn.
He
Aaron.
and stuff
his
too.
his haircut
Listen.
looks like a helmet, like a
That
It
one,
looks
yes.
like Lego hair.
That one, yes. But the longer one, I'm telling you, that's
Look at this
like a
one. That
cute
one's
guy
so
at the time.
bad.
Is
He's
that
with Zooey
new
Deschanel.
girl? Yeah.
Yeah, they were married
Yeah,
for a
They
while.
were married for a
That
long
really?
time.
Oh, that is her.
Yeah.
yeah, he was married to Zoe Deschanel.
And then she
Deschanel.
upgraded to one of the property brothers.
Dude, that's such a strange.
She
I didn't even know
upgraded?
they
No,
were into
she did
women.
not
First of all,
upgrade.
Yeah,
Come
she
on.
upgraded to him.
No, she downgraded.
She turned in Ben Gibbard.
dude. So at any rate, though, it was an extremely. It was a great. It sounded great. They mostly. My friend that I
Okay.
went with. Okay, so here's another thing.
Wait, no. more
Speaking of
importantly,
disabled people,
who is
huh?
he? Who is his romantic partner now?
I don't think he has one. He's on the prowl.
He's a cougar.
He's got cool hair though. He's got cooler hair.
Yeah, because he's probably just. I don't know if you know this about rock stars. A lot of them aren't in committed relationships, Phil. It kind of
He,
fits.
he is married, though.
And when they aren't in committed relationships, they probably have cool hair. Her name's Rachel Demme, apparently.
Yeah, she's a photographer, Seattle photographer.
Oh,
Wonder, does that mean she
Behind-
does
she's into
like?
men?
You think she does like landscapes or aerial shots
Behind
or
the
what?
camera? She's behind the camera.
Yeah, but she only photographs Seattle.
He's a rock star and she's behind the camera.
I'm gonna say she's attractive, and so is he. You know, so I mean, I
Show
don't know
me.
what else to say.
Come on.
Oh, I
You
shouldn't
got
have stopped
sharing.
sharing. Okay, here you go. There's Rachel Demme. She's just a cute old lady.
It's a picture of Tokyo.
She looks.
Like Tune In Tokyo.
All these pictures are of people.
She
Huh?
kind of looks like.
She called
what's her
herself
name?
a Seattle
Kelly-
photographer, but all these photographs are of people.
Exactly. Like, what is this?
I'm a Seattle photographer in.
He's
Japan.
married to Rachel Demme, people photographer.
You can't photograph. Yeah, come on. Most of those photographs are not of Seattle.
So my friend that I went with, you've probably
like
heard
her.
me talk about her before. We were on study abroad together, which happens to be
Her,
Like-
the friend, is a woman.
yeah, I know. That's why she's only a friend. I'm in the friend zone. I'm
Mm.
also happily married, but I'm pissed about being in the friend zone.
To your wife,
Um,
not
To my current wife, yes.
correct.
So I went on study abroad and we listened to a ton of Death Cab together. So it's kind of like a thing, you know. And then that's kind of when I stopped listening to him. But
It's
she
like a Brokeback
was like,
Mountain kind of thing.
she wasn't happy
Between you and her.
about how many new songs they played. I was
Mm.
like, "Do you want me to show you the set list?" She's like, "No, I don't want to see it." But then they played a very different set list than they had every night up until that night, which is interesting. But they sounded fantastic. All the guitars
Yeah.
sounded great. The bassist played with his thumb most of the time, which makes me lose a lot of respect for a bassist, which is like you just never learned how to play the bass properly.
His left thumb.
Yeah. Yeah, he
moving
was
it up
like
the neck.
he had it reaching around. I mean, he could have been left-handed, you know. I'm pretty sure
That's
he's
funny.
the one I was thinking of.
Playing with your thumb is interesting.
It's wrong. It's not interesting.
I'm
Whoa.
interested.
I mean, if you're like doing slap bass or something like that. Now that I said that, I'm pretty sure it was him.
You think someone else is playing with his
Oh
thumb?
no,
You
he's
think somebody
playing with a
rushed the
pick in this
stage?
one. No, I think it actually the one I'm thinking of is the band that opened for Thrice.
Maybe he had like a thumb pick, one of those bluegrass
yeah,
thumb
what
picks. on.
bluegrass. He's got finger picks on all his fingers playing the bass, just single note bass.
That would be
Okay, so that show was great. I went with my friend. So this friend also happens to only have one leg,
Mhm.
which is not
How many thumbs?
What's that?
How many thumbs though?
2.
Okay.
Yeah, she's like, who has 2 thumbs and 1 leg? This guy. But because of that, we got to sit in the ADA section, which this was at an outdoor venue, which they sold more tickets than I've ever seen. It was like way too crowded.
Ooh,
like there are people,
cool.
crammed in all over the place,
fun.
but we just got to sit on this nice bench in the ADA section. You guys know ADA. That's like a common term, right?
Yeah, the American Dental Association.
American, yeah, from Home Alone.
Yeah.
The Americans with Disabilities Act. So it's like the legislation that makes it so buildings have to.
Yeah, the Americans with Disabilities Act.
Yeah. So that was kind of a nice bonus, honestly. We got to go in through the VIP entrance, and also we were joking about the fact that she didn't have to. It would suck to have a disability that is not visibly apparent, right? And you see videos of people getting out of a car in a handicapped spot, and people are like harassing them, and they're like, you can't always see someone's disability. Hers is like very obvious because she's missing an entire leg, But she was like, yeah, it's
does she
nice
at stuff like that? Does she have to does she walk with a full on limp to make sure that everybody sees it?
She's on crutches. Away? She's missing her leg is amputated at her hip.
But she doesn't have a prosthetic. He's picturing her having a prosthetic.
No, she doesn't have a prosthetic.
Aaron's
she has
right.
one leg.
Picturing.
Well, it's it's completely at her hip joint. So and especially because it happened 30 years ago, when she was less than 10 years old. And at the time they didn't have, but even now they don't have good prosthetics because you need some swinging motion to get your leg walking.
You need a nub of some kind.
I think so. But just she never had, growing up, she never had one
nub
that
is probably
worked. So,
not the medical term.
So she's just always been on crutches, So yes, it's not like the kind of thing, because there's a guy I work with who has both his legs are amputated at the knees, and he's super active, and you just would never know it unless he wears shorts, and then it's just 2 metal poles,
Yeah.
So yes, that's what you were picturing.
Like Lieutenant Dan.
Lieutenant Dan.
I saw this video of Cartnarks, an episode that shows up on TikTok every now and then. I always say not interested because I kind of hate that guy, but
what? You hate him?
Yeah, let me tell you this episode, and you're really gonna hate him too.
Uh-oh.
This lady was in the handicap spot, and she came out, and he's kind of said something to her, and then she's like, all right, I'll put the cart back. So she put it back, and then she's walking back, and he's like, oh, what do you handicap for? You got lazy bones? It's is that your handicap? It's lazy bones. He's like, I saw you walking around the store. No, what, you got lazy bones?
He showed his true colors, dude.
It's very rough.
That is jacked up.
Okay,
big L. That's it.
That's a huge L.
She was like,
you don't ask somebody with their disability.
She was like, no, I have
make fun of them.
She's like, I have actual disability, and I'm doing, and she's like, I'm
none of your,
right now.
None of your business is what my disability.
And so she was mad at him and yelling at him. And he was like, oh, what, you're in pain because you got lazy bones? I was like, dude, he just kept doubling down.
He's lying.
And it's hilarious too, because he's so smug.
Yeah.
But I'm sure the comments on that one were not in his favor.
Most of the comments were on his side.
Seriously?
Because you know why? Because she's lying.
TikTok. She's lying.
Yeah, she's a liar.
That's such a bold. I get it that people lie.
You're a terrible person right now.
I get it that people lie about that, but you have to. It's like when people lie about sexual assault, right?
Yeah.
You have to assume. You have to believe handicapped people. Okay, I believe women and handicapped people, which I do believe that being a woman is a form of a handicap too, but that's a separate discussion.
If she said, okay, did she say, hey, I forgot my little...
She had it.
Oh.
She was legally parking there. The only thing you could say is you're lying about it, or it's your friend's tag or whatever.
He said the fact that she walked around the store shopping, but couldn't put her cart away.
Dude, that's
prove that she was a lazy bum.
That's such a bad take, and it's crazy that people have to decide on it.
Hey, you know what, Aaron? Can you cut out the last
No, dude, minutes? you're a hateful.
Cut out the last. You know what?
This reminds me of something that happened at NAM.
Just to be safe, can you cut out the last 20 minutes, please, Aaron?
Can you cut out the last 6 months of this podcast?
Did you actually get flack from somebody at NAM?
No, remember
You
those
don't remember?
the straps, like the instrument to hold stuff, and he was shaking it as if he was
Oh,
at Parkinson's.
yes.
Aaron, record me.
I thought you were talking about the when you were in a wheelchair.
Oh no,
Anyways.
no.
I was like, did
Remember
you
when
get
I
hate
made
crimes?
fun of
Did you
Aaron
get hate
for
crimes
being
at
in a
NAM? I
wheelchair?
forgot that.
Uh,
Hashtag hate crimes at NAM.
Aaron, you pay attention to our social medias more than I do. Did anybody give us crap about any of that?
Did anybody see that post? That should have been your question. And
I
the
don't know if
answer is
anyone
no.
listened to it.
No, I'm wondering if anybody if
I
anybody
have not heard
like,
any feedback about
I
that.
guarantee
I'm-
nobody saw it.
I'm
We
sometimes
talked about it though on the podcast.
I'm a little bit recognizable.
Maybe
So
not.
like, what if
Oh
somebody
yeah,
saw
but anyone
me?
that listens to the podcast, if
Yeah,
if
exactly.
that's how they heard about it, then they would have known.
They would have heard us talking about it. And they would have been like, "You monster."
They could have. You saying, did anyone comment on it, like on the fact that?
Yeah, like did someone watch the video and was like, "Hey,
Anywhere.
you insensitive
Emails,
jerk."
Is there a video?
Patreon,
I don't know.
I have not heard
podcast.
any feedback from anybody on any medium.
Maybe that.
I think they're just so ashamed of you they didn't even know what to say.
Yeah, maybe.
And
Hey
they're just
guys,
filled with disgust.
do you want to see something
A
crazy?
13-year-old
I don't know a
boy's
good
worth
way
of
to do
disgust.
this to show you this,
Ooh,
but I got an enormous air conditioner in my room.
cool.
Because my room, I work here all day and it gets so freaking hot because I have all my stuff in here and me.
Mhm.
So I bought this air conditioner that like vents up to the window. It's
Cool.
essentially like a big version of the kind that just sits in your window.
Yep, yep.
Okay.
It's meant to cool a room that's like 500 square feet, and my room's like 150 square feet. So
Yes.
it's pretty awesome.
Okay. And Amazon, Walmart, Costco. Where'd you
Costco.
buy it?
Costco.
Okay.
Anytime I buy something that I know there's a good chance I'll need to return it, I buy it at Costco because I know I'll be able to return it.
It's good.
Okay. And
Good rule of thumb.
how
And it
long have you
works.
owned it?
Like a month and a half, and it's
And you're digging it?
amazing. Yeah, it's been a life-changing thing, honestly.
I'm not hearing it. Is it on right now?
I just turned it on. That's what made me think of it because I realized I had turned it off.
Let me
But
see.
yeah, it is on right now.
I'm putting both ears in to hear.
Okay, I'm gonna get on Zoom on my phone just so you guys can see it.
Yeah, turn it off. I want to hear it. Like,
I think the noise.
oh, I do think I hear it. Aaron, do you hear it?
I do.
The
I do.
noise canceling on Zoom probably cuts out a lot of it.
Dude, we were FaceTiming the other day with my brother-in-law and our niece, and every time she would talk, her voice was at like the the perfect pitch or tone or whatever that the noise canceling would just mute her. So
Oh, jeez.
every time she tried to talk, it would just the sound would cut out. It was hilarious.
Awesome.
Phil, do you have games?
It's funny you say that because I do.
Yes.
Okay, I was gonna say better.
Funny. It is funny I say that.
Here, I'm just gonna send you a picture of what it looks like.
Should we do it?
Should
Do
we
one?
save it for
Save it?
the next episode?
Since this one's going so well without it, we just need to
It is going so well,
Keep it.
Aaron.
Oh.
rock.
Aaron, let's
Paul's
talk about.
walking away playing with his air conditioner.
Let's talk about
have
Fast
to-
and the Furious.
I have to show you guys. I have to.
I have not seen it.
So you can see.
So I have nothing
Stop
to say
saying
about
that,
it.
Aaron. Stop.
I have
saying that.
nothing to say about it. I have no thoughts about it other than
Oh,
Okay.
but I didn't talk about the other concert I went to
I
with
might
my
watch
children.
it when it comes out on Max.
I went and saw Thrice.
Yeah.
Tell me on a scale of 1 to 10 how much you guys like Thrice. Because I never know.
Like or
I mean, you guys are like super familiar with them, right? Like,
Okay, so yeah, here's the
or
thing.
not really.
I think I've listened to 2 of their albums all the way through.
Okay.
Cole, I can't remember if Thrice is one of the bands.
You sound very quiet to me, Phil,
Oh, do I?
for some reason.
Yeah, like just suddenly.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Like
didn't.
you got quieter or something.
Okay, I can.
Crank it a little bit.
Check.
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. So, Cole, I don't remember if we've talked about Thrice, specifically about this, but they are, not, the band is not Christian, but
Yeah, they are. I mean, like they have been. They're a Christian band in my mind,
okay.
or they were at one point. So like they're huge in the praise and worship scene. I know.
Yes,
They were never like
not
on a Christian label is the thing.
Yeah, yeah. But
were they Tooth and Nail
they-
or no?
They play it. No,
No, they were
play
on
it.
Victory, I think.
They play
Okay,
it like
but-
churches and stuff, though. Like
Drive-thru.
Because-
Originally on
plays
Drive-thru.
at churches and stuff.
Well, I don't know if
Because-
he does inform.
Kinsru,
He has fairly recently.
so Cole, this is important for you to know, only because for no other reason
Are you
than
going to tell me something I already know
maybe.
about this band that I follow extremely closely?
Okay, Cole,
It is
you
one of
tell
my
me.
favorite bands of all
Give me
time.
the Wikipedia of Kinsru.
What about him? I don't know what you're about to tell me about him.
Okay, well then I'll tell you. So he worked for, like, when they got big, then he started leading worship at Mars Hill,
Mhm.
and was I don't know how long he was there, but like at the time Mars Hill was like kind of collecting like popular bands that were Christian, and like, hey, we want you to be like part of our staff.
Probably mostly Tooth and Nail type bands.
Yeah, definitely. But like, so they were like kind of like the orbit, the gravitational pull was very strong,
Yeah.
and then they were like sucking up bands to like lead worship at all their satellite churches. But then like one by one, bands were like, dude, this kind of sucks. And
Yeah.
Mark Driscoll really sucks. And so then they were like peeling off. And I think Kinsru like specifically wrote like a letter that like I think you can like find online that was like, here is why I'm leaving the church, and here's why I
Yeah.
think Driscoll should step down. And like it was like this, he made it like a very public
Yeah, it
thing,
was a very public thing. Yeah.
which is like at the time was very crazy, because it wasn't. Now it's like, okay, yeah,
Totally.
of course.
Now it's like that's what you expect bands to do. It's like surprising if any band is still Christian, you know.
Well, but specifically like hating on Driscoll. Like at the
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
it was like, no, everybody
Yeah.
loves Driscoll.
Where
then
now
it was like-
that's a very popular opinion.
exactly. Now it's like cool to hate him.
Yeah.
But at the time, it was still cool to like him.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was like, no, he should not be over anyone. And so I don't know like where he's at, like,
And he like
spiritually wise.
he makes a point of not like discussing his own personal beliefs because he doesn't want it to color like. And I've seen interviews with him where he'll say like, I don't want someone's fandom of our band to depend on whether or not we're Christian or whatever, you know.
Is that just because of money, or is it because of like actual art?
I think it's because of art. I don't know. Like, what are you saying? Are you saying he is Christian and doesn't want to admit it, or he isn't Christian and doesn't want to admit it?
I could see like
Because I
I've
feel
known
like they
bands that
moved.
do both.
They're like much bigger than the Christian scene that they kind of started.
He's
in.
currently not a Christian and like pretty open about it, what I can tell, but I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, he had a podcast a while ago.
Okay.
At least he's one of the like he did.
Cole,
through a whole,
Cole,
like,
turn off your
deconstruction
safe
thing.
search on your internet and then Google it.
Google what? Google what?
Google Dustin Kinsru Christian
Yeah.
question mark.
Question mark? Dustin Kinsru going
Why
to
safe
hell?
search?
Question mark.
The joke,
Safe
Aaron,
search
is that
filter?
But it is
The-
like a.
the joke
it is
is
an
that-
interesting. It's interesting how it's kind of flipped to the point of like. I feel like being an openly Christian band, you get like the benefit of the freaking Nazi Trump supporters and stuff like that. But it's probably like a net loss in fans, right?
I think probably the whole Christian music thing was more influential on like not what kids cared about listening to, but like what they were allowed to listen to.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. But
So
I'm
like
just
if it
saying
was
right
sold, then your
now,
parents would buy it
like-
for you. So I think that's that. Now that there's like Spotify and everything, I feel like that's not as big of a thing. You don't have to like buy CDs. Even.
Yeah.
Plus, I feel like that distinction just isn't as
Yeah, I feel like a lot of
meaningful
bands moved away
anymore.
from that for whatever reason.
Like most bands just don't. Yeah. Or the ones that are ones that are like making songs about freaking Trump or something like that, you know.
Yeah,
They're the ones who that's like their entire persona. Just hilarious. They can be like prison songs now or something. But at any rate, so they're touring on Artist in the Ambulance.
Dude, that
Yeah.
song is so sick.
And
I really enjoyed that album, the remix one.
yeah, it was good. And I honestly, so I went through that song. That album came out while I was on my mission. I got back from my mission, and Thrice was one of the bands I listened to most, probably like Thrice and Taking Back Sunday, and then the bands I listened to before. But there was a period where I was training for a triathlon, and I don't remember. I must have had like an iPod Shuffle or something that only had a couple albums on it, and I basically just listened to Artist in the Ambulance on repeat for hours. Just all of the training I did for this while I was running or biking, I was listening to Artist in the Ambulance. So I have that entire album just completely memorized and burned into my brain. So it was that was a unique experience. I haven't really had that before where I know every song that well. I mean, they even like played it in order, you know. But okay, so there's a couple of questions. First of all, I don't know how his voice holds up as well as it does, because
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
on
And
that album he screams like. He also played Deadbolt and one other song from Illusion of Safety. And then they ended with The Earth Will Shake, which has a ton of screaming in it. Like, because a lot of their stuff he doesn't scream as much anymore. But I don't know how he does, and they're playing like every night almost. But what are the bands like? What would be an album like that for you guys, where just that one album is just like deeply seared into your brain?
Album?
The full album.
Yeah, like front to back, like in order kind of thing, you know?
Okay, so
Which I don't even
here's-
do that much anymore, right? Like, do you even listen to
Yeah.
albums in order anymore?
okay,
I
no,
do.
I do not. I can tell you. I don't know if this is probably not the most recent one, but it's definitely like deeply burned onto my hard drive. Hydra? Hard drive.
Hydra?
Your Hydra. Hail Hydra.
Is Science by Incubus.
Weird. I think
I
we
know.
might have talked about this before.
I'm sure we've talked about it. It is like,
Yeah. Oh, because
like-
when we were doing albums for a while, that was one of the albums you chose.
yes, like, dude, like deeply. I bet I could 100% like air guitar or air DJ every freaking song on that album, and probably I'm fairly certain I could sing every
You
single
could at
word.
least sing that. You could sing the whole thing. You just might miss some of the words.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That album and Make Yourself for sure.
By
Both of
Incubus?
those albums. Yes.
That is so strange. I feel like I didn't know that you were such
Yeah, he's big in Incubus.
Incubus. fan.
Way too big.
Incubus.
way,
A decade
way
ago,
too big.
Incubuds?
Spontaneous combustion.
Do
So
they
it goes.
say what's the name for the fan? Is it like Incubuds?
Incubuddies.
Incubusters.
Incubusters.
The
I don't know.
Incubuddies.
Incubuddies.
So you think they are incubussin? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes. I mean, I did at the time.
You don't anymore?
No, it's kind of like, do you like the movie Never Ending Story? Hell yeah, I do. Do you think it's the greatest movie of all time? Well,
Oh, totally. Yeah.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like,
I
there's
don't think. I
it's
feel like
the nostalgia of it.
it's pretty like arrogant to think that your favorite thing is also the best thing. Like you really think
Yeah, totally.
really think your taste is that good?
My favorite thing at 18 years old.
Yeah.
Can I say it's like, it's the best thing ever in the world? No,
Yeah,
no.
not even close.
I think I could do that with like 3 Alkaline Trio albums in a row.
Really?
Like
Like
not Good Morning.
Maybe I'll
That's
Catch
the second
Fire.
one. No, probably like From Here to Infirmary into Good Morning. Like those two
Really?
for sure. Yeah.
See,
Because that's the first one I heard was Here to Infirmary. That one was like I was big into that. And then
my two were GD and
Yeah, Maybe I'll Catch Fire.
Maybe I'll Catch Fire.
I like those two a lot now, but I came to those later.
It's funny how you can't fake that, right?
Yeah.
Johnny was asking me that because my son he decided Thrice is his favorite band a few weeks ago, and he was asking me, "Do you like their new stuff as much as their old stuff?" And I was like, "Well, no, but that doesn't mean it's not better. You know, it's just like you can't, you know."
There's so much tied to music that you can't just like rationalize
Yeah.
it very well.
Totally. So that was
Probably-
like your main. Is that the band you listen to the most? Do you think?
No, I mean I don't know. I just really like those albums. Like
Yeah.
I could do that with probably every Page of the Lion album
Okay,
all the way through.
I
That's
could do
probably
that
one
with
of my
Control
top
for sure.
bands. Yeah, dude. The newer stuff is so good.
I know. I'm kind of mad. They're playing here on Monday,
Yeah, they're here this week.
and I'm gonna be at scout camp with my kids, so I can't go.
So
I'm kind of
leave your
angry
kids,
about that.
abandon your family, abandon your boy,
I thought about it.
like Daniel Day-Lewis. Abandon my
For
boy.
me, like honestly, still like Pinkerton is that way for me,
Pinkerton's good.
and the Blue album. I would always skip the Sweater Song.
Yeah,
For some reason, it's not like in hindsight, it's not a bad song. It was just so overplayed that I just didn't like it. But
it's a little
Pinkerton.
like gimmicky.
yeah,
Like the whole like talking parts is not like
yeah, I hated that
It's not
part,
like
the intro part.
interesting to listen to over and
No.
over.
Weirdly, The Sound of Silence by Simon and Garfunkel was the first CD I owned, and I listened
You
to that.
obviously
Oh.
much prefer the Disturbed.
Dude, I freaking hate this. I try not to be like one of those music elitists, you know, because we all just like what we like. But it really bothers me when people talk about how that version is better than the Simon and Garfunkel version. It's just such a bad opinion.
It's okay.
Okay, and then in modern wise, honestly, Black Mile to the Surface,
Yeah, so good.
Manchester Orchestra is like that for me. Do you have an album like that of the last 10 years, Phil?
Last 10 years. Okay. Between,
Like I feel like or of
13 and
recent history,
23.
you know,
an album that I love as much as Science.
that you just know all the way through.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think there's
Is it kinda
anything in the
just-
last, and that's
It's like just not how you listen to albums anymore.
right. That it's more of a function of like how I'm given music than,
Yeah.
I mean, what was the last album you bought? Don't answer that with your freaking vinyl.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
that
don't
doesn't
think
count.
vinyl, but-
What's the last
Bullcrap.
album that you practically bought for a practical purpose and not just to be a collector?
Yeah, you
I don't buy it to collect.
Aaron,
shut up, Aaron.
this is
I don't. I have like less than 30 records.
Aaron, listen to yourself. I don't buy it to collect.
I
Say it
know, and
again.
I only buy stuff that I
Just
like want to listen.
disappeared
Aaron,
up
no,
your
wait,
own
stop.
ass.
Say it again, Aaron. Just say
That's
it
I
again.
don't buy records
That's
to
a
collect
line.
them.
No. Say it like you said it before.
I don't buy to collect.
No,
I'm not a
like you said it
collector.
before.
That's one of my favorite lines from High Fidelity. You just disappeared up your own asshole.
I don't buy to collect.
I
Nope.
think mine might have been one of the Jimmy Eat World albums.
I have Black Mountain Service.
Okay, and when did that come out, Cole?
That's what I'm looking up because
It's got to be like.
I think
honestly, it might be that might be mine too.
like I know
Which
I
one?
bought, and we're talking like an actual CD, not just like
Yes,
that you
I'm
bought
talking
on
about it.
iTunes or whatever.
So I don't buy.
Okay, but no. I'm
Okay,
saying
even if you bought it on iTunes, right?
iTunes counts if it's a
Yeah.
buying a full
if-
album.
But
What
I
if you have
definitely
Apple
bought
Music and you like
Invented.
downloaded it on Apple?
No, Aaron, that's not what we're talking about.
I
But
definitely
see,
bought
you
Invented.
don't buy it because you have a subscription, so you don't actually have to buy an album.
Exactly,
So
Aaron.
that's like the point of like
We're
you
talking about
because
past
you
tense.
kind of like lose. It has the same effect that
But I can still
Um,
listen to albums all the way through.
yeah. Did you guys have
I just
the
don't
experience
purchase them
of like
individually.
the first time you heard about emulators and ROMs and being able to just download as many games as you want to?
Oh
No.
no.
It kind of, yeah, like I remember one of my friends in high school was like, oh, download this app. And then he gave me whatever, a CD with all these ROMs on it. And it's like, here's every Super Nintendo game ever.
Jeez.
And it's like, because of that, I didn't play anything for very long because it's like, oh, I have infinite games at my
Right.
fingertips. Why would I spend time? And it's the same way with like back in the day, you got a game, like that was the only game you're getting for like 6 months. So you're just going to play the
Yeah.
crap out of it,
True.
you know? So I feel like that's part of why you don't listen to a single album as much anymore because you just have every album at your fingertips, right? Or even like in your car, it used to be like, every month or so I'd switch out all the CDs in my car, but then for that month it was like
Yeah.
that's what I was listening to, you know.
Six.
Had
But
the
I listened.
visor holder.
What's the last album you listened to all the way through?
I
know.
I will do
I got
that
it.
some. Like the latest Manchester Orchestra I listened to all the way through multiple times.
Yeah, same.
Or like the latest Lucius is really
Okay.
good. It's kind of disco-y. It's freaking
yeah. Did you guys listen to the Boy Genius album, the
good.
record? It's
Listen
really
to some of it.
I know this is showing my
What's
age,
yours, Phil?
and I don't care, because I think it's freaking great. But Queens of the Stone Age, songs for the deaf.
Quatza. I call him Quatza.
And that album stands out in my mind. I think part of it is because I'm sure I listened to it during a road trip, but like I don't have anything to back this up, but I'm fairly certain that they intentionally designed the album. I might have said this on the podcast a long time ago, that they designed the album to start in LA somewhere and listen straight through going east.
I can see them doing that.
Because like it ends like it starts with like radio dial stuff. By the end, it's like the radio dial noise between songs is like weird, like either like it's like fire and brimstone, like kind of like stuff. It gets like stranger and stranger. The radio dial, like old school, like knob turning.
Yeah.
And
Like, you talking about Fire and Brimstone preaching?
yes.
Okay.
And there's like those little vignettes of like, you know, people like disc jockeys talking,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
they change throughout the album. And in the beginning of the album, it sounds more like K-rock kind of stuff.
Right.
And at the end of the album, it gets like it's getting like weirder and weirder. And I think they did it, like I said, with like it sounds more rural. It sounds more, I don't know. I listened to it. Maybe it's because of the way I listened to it the first time, and now it's kind of like seared in my brain that way. But I don't know. Everything I'm saying, I have not like looked into it. I'm curious. These are all things that you could look up, and there's probably tons of people who have like, done blog posts about that album. So I could be way off, or I could be like right on. But like, I feel like that was like the vibe I got. It's like, holy crap, they did this on purpose. You start in LA and you listen to it going, what is that? The 10, like just taking the 10 and going. Like pressing play
and
and
then
then
that far though, right?
I mean, I don't know, an hour,
How long is the album?
hour and a half, hour.
Yeah, if you drove like an hour, I mean, if it's an hour and a half, you'd get almost in Palm Springs.
If you start at 1 a.m., right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you'd
No
be out,
traffic.
but you'd be in like Banning or something.
Yeah. Desert.
Well, no, I mean, you'd kind of be like in the outskirts of like Eastern Riverside area.
Yes.
I literally can't think of a Queens of the Stone Age song.
What? Dude.
The best one is Lost Art of Keeping a Secret. That's a good one.
Okay, have I heard that song?
Whatever you do.
No. That's not the best one. There's one that's
anyone.
okay. There's
What's
one
the
that
one
was
that I'm
used
most
in like
likely
a
to have
million.
heard?
There's one that was used in a million like
It's when the bass goes ding 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 ding. Then the guitar goes. No, that's Muse.
Okay, that's what I thought. I
No.
do mix up the two though.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah.
That's
What
funny.
is that song though?
The one that's been used in a bunch of like commercials and movie trailers is boom bam ba-da-dum, bam, ba-da-dum, ba-da-da-boom, bam, ba-da-dum,
that's-
boom, bam. We got these pills to swallow.
Yeah, that was on Guitar Hero.
So
Yeah.
that one's like
No
probably their most
one
popular.
knows.
Yes, that's the one. That's probably their most popular, but
Dave Grohl played
The one
drums
that-
on that.
the one that is like
3s and 7s.
superior is the one that people talk about, like the drums of the start of the song, and I don't remember the title of the song, but the drums are it's so freaking great. Like it's actually Dave Grohl is playing on that album.
Yeah,
He's the one who
he played on Songs for the Deaf, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the one that goes. It's like there's a guitar going da 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 da, and then there's this. It's so great.
I always just wrote them off as kind of being butt rock.
How dare you?
No, they're like stoner rock.
Okay, yeah. I mean, you just got done telling us that Incubus was your favorite band of all time. You don't really have a leg to stand on. That's like quintessential butt rock.
Listen, I don't care what you say.
I'm not saying it's
311,
bad. I'm just saying
311 and Homegrown are some of the best bands of all time.
311.
You like Revolution too?
You
a
didn't
big
even
Revolution
smoke
fan?
weed.
Dude,
It's like when a Mormon kid is way into fish. Like, what is wrong
I
with you?
smoked a lot of weed,
Oh, okay.
but before I was into
Before you like
Incubus.
311.
and 311. Yes.
311's
weed
like
every day.
fine. It's like very inoffensive music. But I can't
Inoffensive.
understand somebody who would get way into 311.
I know this dude in high school
I
who
can't
was
imagine
way,
having a
way
strong
into 311, and he also had 3 nipples.
No.
Dude, did he have
Yeah.
11 toes? That would have been great.
That was what it was. Yeah.
He was like really into 9/11 and also
yeah,
reggae.
he had. Think about if you're so into 9/11 that you like cut off one of your toes and had it grafted onto your hand, so you had 9 toes and 11 fingers.
Yeah, imagine.
Okay,
Just think about
so
that. That's like the kind
311
of thing my son says to me all the time.
I-
What if this happened? And you're like, I don't know.
did
I
you
don't
guys
what you want me
know-
to say.
Josiah asked me. It's funny that you said that. Josiah just asked me yesterday, "Hey, Dad,
Jesse?
how many holes do we have?"
You're
And I go, "What?"
like in the backyard, or
Yeah.
And he goes, like on our body, how many holes? And he goes, eyes don't count. And I was like, okay.
6, 7,
Well, you and I
I mean,
7.
it depends what you
Have
count
7.
as holes, right?
I go, you and I have 7. And he goes, no, 8. And I go, what? And he goes, your belly button. I was like, that's not a hole. And then he argued with me
if
for like
that's-
10 minutes.
If that's not a hole, then your eye isn't really a hole either.
He said
right?
eyes
That's
don't
what I
count.
told him.
He said eyes don't count though.
Yeah, he said eyes don't count. And
Okay. Then is your ear a hole? Because it's closed off too. It's just a
your
tiny
ear,
bit.
he says your ear is a hole, but your belly button is a hole.
And you say
And your
ear's
eye is
hole.
not a hole.
What do you say between ears and belly buttons?
I say ears, yes. Belly button, no.
See, like my belly button is about as deep as my ears. That's, that's because I'm fat. But like,
I think it has
No.
to do with your belly button is sealed off on the inside.
so
That's
is your
right.
ear.
Not
ear is completely sealed
though.
off on the
yeah,
inside.
I guess that's true.
Not if you push hard enough.
Yeah, if you push hard enough on your belly button, you could get that mofo to open up too.
I don't. Okay, but some people don't at all. They have an
Okay,
Audi.
then 5.
Okay. Some people have like some jacked up ear that sticks out or whatever, right? Like,
There's-
I love that both of you jumped right into this.
5.
okay, so you have 2 down below your waist. You can at least agree
Yes.
on that,
Yes.
Or 3, depending.
unless you're saying, yeah, your urethra and your whatever, or you're like, there's 2 tubes.
No,
that
I'm
converge
saying
into one.
male or female.
Yeah, exactly. So
You
did
were-
you tell Josiah that? Did you
What-
get
that-
into the fact that like mom has 9 and we have 8 or whatever?
Yeah. Mom has more.
Yeah,
I told him that.
which is like, that's the one time in society where a woman gets more than a man.
Yeah. And I was like, and
So
then
then
I
your
started
nostrils,
pointing.
your mouth.
I was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5, 6,
6,
7. So what's
7.
the 8th? Oh, the belly button. Okay, yeah,
And
yeah.
the belly button is
Yeah.
8. And I was like, and he was like 8, and I was like, no, dude.
Huh.
I mean,
Yeah.
technically, every hole you have ends at some point. Is closed off.
No, Aaron.
Well, like your mouth.
Yes.
Your mouth continuously connects your butthole. So is that just one hole? Your mouth
Yeah,
and
I
your
guess
butthole
that's
and
true.
your nose, your nostrils? They're all connected. It's like if you poke a hole in a piece of paper, is that one hole or 2 holes,
That's a good point.
And like when does it become 2 holes? Like how thick does the paper have to be before it's 2 holes?
Does a straw have holes? How many
Exactly.
holes are
Like
in
it's
straw?
that's the classic question. Does a straw have 1 hole or 2?
or none.
Ooh.
Or none?
Is a door.
I don't know how. Who's
Is a
arguing
door
that a
a
straw
hole?
has 0 holes?
Is a door 1 hole or 2?
A straw has no holes.
A straw?
How,
Did you say a straw has no holes?
how so? It just has an opening?
How is
It-
it no?
Rounds emptiness, but the emptiness is not part of the straw.
Huh?
No. So how about, okay, I looked up the definition of hole, and
Good.
what it says is a small or unpleasant place. So there you go.
Mm.
Yeah, see, straw. Okay,
Now it
If
says
you
a
have
Is
hollow
that Urban
place,
Dictionary?
a hollow place in a solid body or surface.
does a circle have a hole?
What do you mean? What's a circle? Like a circle?
Does a circle have a
circle
hole?
doesn't exist in
Yeah.
nature.
Have I told you guys about my
But
buddy?
what do you? No, tell me what you mean by a circle.
If a circle doesn't
Aaron.
have a hole, then a straw doesn't have a hole.
A circle doesn't exist.
Yeah, neither do straws.
You don't know what you're talking about.
In nature,
You
straws
can,
don't exist
you can
in
talk
nature.
about poetry, but we're not going to start talking about geometry. You're not going to try to start telling me about geometry.
Aaron, what is the thing you use to slurp up your
Straw.
your drink
Straw.
at Straw Hat Pizza?
I get what you're saying, but it's just not true. Like a hole, like otherwise, then a hole doesn't exist.
Yeah, holes don't exist. That's my point.
But see, that's wrong. Like this goes back to the same thing. Like it's a question of language. Like language exists
Yeah.
for the
Yeah,
same
Aaron.
reason that like when somebody says, and language changes over time, but a language is a hole is a hollow place in a solid body or surface, and that's how it's known. Like that's what hole means because that's what everyone says it means.
You guys, Aaron
Yeah.
doesn't see color.
A straw has one hole.
Okay.
It goes all the way through it.
Yes, that is what I believe.
Yes.
That's
That's
what I
two
said.
It's just
ends.
that
long
a hole
ago.
can have an end or it cannot have an end, and those are just
Yeah.
two types of holes, but it doesn't mean like if I drill a hole through a piece of wood or something, it doesn't mean.
Or if you
that
punch a
I
hole
now
through a
drilled
piece of
2
paper,
holes.
that's not 2 holes.
Exactly. Like if you tell someone, "Oh, I need a hole through this 2x4, so I need you to drill me 2 holes that are
Yeah.
a quarter inch in diameter." Like, no, I just meant drill all the way through, and so then it creates 2 holes. Like, no, that's idiotic.
Yeah, it's a hole.
It is an a-hole who would say that.
I think we should wrap this up.
Yeah, let's do it. That was
Yeah.
good. Can we all agree on how many holes we have, though?
Wait a minute. But what were you
Well, if
talking
we're going
about?
by straw theory, we have 1 hole.
Straw theory.
We have 1,
I guess so, because your ear. Well, no, your ears.
2, 3.
Yeah, your ears are closed
4.
off from everything else, even though just the opposite side of your eardrum is connected to your sinuses. So, but your eardrum is not.
We are an
Can
open
you-
system.
Here's the question. Hypothetically, can you like snort a spaghetti noodle long enough?
Could
Or a
God
piece of
snort
string.
a spaghetti noodle long enough that even he couldn't pull it out of his mouth?
A piece of string, could you snort up a piece of string and then poop it out?
Yes.
Yes, you could.
Yes.
So that means it's 1 hole. Yes?
Yes.
That's
but
what
you
you're saying?
You couldn't pull it out
Yes.
your ears. You could pull it out your eyeball. You could snort a string and pull
Oh.
it out your eyeball because your tear ducts.
What
are
about
connected
your
to sinuses.
urethra?
No.
Could potentially.
No, you
but it
have
would-
to have
it wouldn't
something
fit.
seriously
Like
wrong
it wouldn't
with
fit, but it could happen. Like
You know,
No.
like very
you. No,
small,
'cause
like
your
dental
urethra,
floss.
like your urethra is not connected to your digestive system in that way. Your
Yeah.
kidneys, your
No, no,
kidneys
I-
pull urine from your blood.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
doesn't. It's not connected to your stomach in any way.
It's not like in the
That's true.
cartoons
That's
where
true.
there's
That's
like the stomach and there's like the little flap and then it just like lets it out or not.
so, you know how when you like drink, Phil, you know this. When you drink a lot of coffee, your pee smells like coffee.
Yeah.
Does that mean that your blood also smells like coffee?
Probably not, because your blood has other scents that kind of overshadow. Like your blood smells so much like iron that.
What if you have scurvy,
Oh,
but you drink a lot of coffee?
that's a good.
Like
That's a classic
asparagus,
question. If you have scurvy
coffee,
and you drink a lot of coffee, does
asparagus.
your blood smell like coffee?
Does your blood smell like
That's
coffee?
like I remember this from my philosophy class. Actually,
If I chew on batteries, if I put a bunch of batteries in a glass of water and I drink it,
that is a great rebuttal, though, for anyone who tries to argue.
thank you.
No, I guess it. Yeah, I don't know.
Argue what? That a straw has 2 holes?
Yeah, but see, then you're talking about like some kind of double straw that splits,
Yeah,
And it's like how many
Exactly,
holes
there's
does that
multiple
have?
holes.
Like, well,
there's multiple holes.
yeah, and then maybe you would consider like all those holes. If it's like a 4-way straw that combines into one straw, does it have 4 holes or 5? Like at that point, you might just like language would lead you to say maybe there's 5 holes because the one hole on the bottom isn't clearly a part of any of the other 4 holes.
Listen,
But then
if
you
I
would also,
take
I
a
think you would
sponge,
start talking about openings versus holes. Like,
Yeah, totally.
if I take a sponge,
That's what we should start. Are we going to start talking about openings now? That's right.
how many openings does your body have? How many entrances?
Yeah, it depends on how you define,
yeah. If I take a sponge and I pour water on one side,
Keep going.
Yeah. Go on.
water's gonna come out any side. How many holes does that sponge have?
Millions, like
Yeah,
an
Yeah.
infinite amount of holes.
and
Yeah.
0.
Oh, so
What-
that's like your body has like
Yeah.
Yeah,
millions
do
of
all
'cause
your
it has
pores count?
pores? Yeah,
Yeah.
your pores.
And your
If you
follicles?
exactly, if you drink a bunch of water and then you sweat, hey,
I don't have nearly as many holes on my head as you guys because a lot of mine have closed
billions of holes.
Billions and
up. Dude,
billions.
that's actually going to be the title of my memoir.
Billions of holes.
Billions
Plus, you
of
don't know. Like, you could have an ulcer that's undiagnosed. You might have another
Yep.
hole.
openings. Yeah.
1,000,000,001.
Orifices.
And thanks for friendship.
Thanks for
Thanks
friendship.
for friendship.
We never really set our levels. Does everyone sound reasonable?
You guys sound
I mean,
approximately the same.
Aaron
Me.
sounds fantastic.
We'll fix it in post.